Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our daily motivation session.
Thank you. It is really great to be here with you all today.
Today, we are doing a deep dive into a very fascinating topic from our source material.
Yes, and it is a topic that almost every single person experiences.
Exactly. Our mission today is to understand a very common but very frustrating experience. We want to answer this question. Why do we suddenly lose our motivation right after we have a major personal realization?
Or what some people call an awakening.
Right, an awakening. Before we start, I have a quick question for you. Have you ever felt a sudden burst of motivation to change your whole life, but then a few days later, you felt completely exhausted and lost your drive?
I think we all have.
Pause the video and tell me in the comments. I really want to know.
It is wonderful to talk about this in a safe space to learn and grow. When you feel that sudden loss of energy, it can feel very lonely.
You might even think you were doing something wrong.
Right. But as we look at the research in our text today, we will see that you are definitely not alone. There is a very good reason for what you are feeling.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Let's start by looking at how our source material introduces this concept. It begins with a story about a young man.
Let's call him John.
Yes, John. Now, John lived a completely normal life. He had a steady office job,
He had a comfortable little apartment.
and he had good friends and a family that loved him. Every single morning, John woke up, drank his coffee, and sat in traffic on his way to work.
Just following the routine.
Exactly. He answered his emails, sat meetings, and then went home, ate dinner, and watched television.
From the outside, John's life looked completely fine.
It looked perfect on paper.
But the main issue was that he did not feel truly happy. Deep inside his heart, John felt this strange, empty hole.
And that is a very common feeling, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Huh.
It is a feeling of dissatisfaction that he just could not explain. He felt guilty for feeling so empty because, well, his life looked so good.
He tried to ignore it. He told himself, maybe I am just tired.
Or maybe I need a long vacation.
Right. But the feeling never went away. Then, one Sunday afternoon, everything changed.
This is my favorite part of the story.
John decided to take a quiet walk in the park near his home. And he purposely left his phone behind.
No screens, no emails, no digital noise.
He just sat down on an empty bench under a big, beautiful oak tree.
The quietness of that specific moment is so important. He felt the warm sun. He listened to the wind.
And in that quiet space, a sudden realization hit him. He looked around and asked himself,
Is this all there is to life?
yes. He suddenly realized that his life had to mean much more than just paying bills and following the exact same routine until he grew old.
It is almost like a switch flipped for him.
He experienced what the text calls an awakening. He realized he wanted to find more meaning and truth. But I mean, that sudden realization must be overwhelming.
It really is.
What does an awakening actually mean? Is it always the sudden light bulb moment?
That is a great question. Often it builds up slowly over time, but there is usually a tipping point.
Like John on the park bench.
Exactly. Now, an awakening is not about suddenly becoming perfect.
Right, you don't get magical powers.
No, and you don't have to quit your job and move into the forest. Really, an awakening is simply about opening your eyes.
Waking up from automatic mode.
Yes. Before that Sunday, John was just sleepwalking through life, doing what society expected without questioning it.
But when you wake up, you start to care more about the truth than about feeling comfortable.
You start to ask deep questions about who you are.
And when that happens, it feels amazing at first. You feel so strong and free.
The initial high is incredible.
I remember when I tried to completely change my morning routine. I read a book about habits, and I decided to wake up at 5 in the morning every day.
How did that go?
For the first 3 days, I felt like a superhero. I exercised, I read, I planned my day. But by Thursday, I could not even look at my alarm clock.
You crashed.
I felt completely exhausted. It is very humbling. And that is exactly what happened to John, right? He felt a massive burst of energy to change, and then he crashed.
Yes, and that crash is a biological reality. When you decide to change your life, your brain gives you a massive spike of a chemical called dopamine.
The motivation chemical.
Exactly. It makes you feel excited. But human biology demands balance. Your brain cannot sustain that high level forever.
So the chemical level drops.
It drops significantly.
Yeah.
That dopamine crash is why you physically feel exhausted.
You wake up and you just feel tired and confused. You ask, what happened to my energy?
We call this stage the dip after the rise.
The dip. Our source uses a really helpful analogy to explain this dip. It compares it to climbing a tall mountain.
I love this analogy.
So imagine you were standing at the very bottom of a mountain. The weather is beautiful and sunny.
The view is great.
You have your backpack on and you think, this is going to be an amazing adventure.
You start walking up with a big smile.
But as you keep climbing, you get halfway up, and the environment changes completely.
The trail gets steep.
The air gets thin, so it is hard to breathe. Your legs start to burn.
And that backpack feels incredibly heavy now.
Worst of all, thick gray clouds roll in. You cannot see the top of the mountain anymore.
You are tired, you are cold, and you start to doubt yourself.
You think, maybe I am not strong enough? Maybe I should just turn around and go back to the bottom.
It is a very scary feeling.
But wait. If having an awakening is a positive thing, why does our brain drain our energy and make it so difficult? Shouldn't finding your purpose make life easier?
It is natural to think it should be easier, but it is not a punishment. The dip is actually a sign of progress.
Progress? How?
Think about it this way. Because your eyes are finally open, you are seeing your entire life very clearly.
Without any blinders on.
Right. You are not just seeing the positive things. You are suddenly seeing all of your bad habits.
You are seeing the consequences of your past choices.
And the fears you tried to hide by keeping busy. When John woke up, he had to face it. Really does. Before the awakening, he was asleep, so he did not notice the scary things.
Now he is awake, and the truth is not always comfortable.
The truth can hurt, but seeing these uncomfortable things is the only way to experience real change.
You cannot heal a wound if you refuse to look at it.
Exactly. The dip is the moment you finally look at the wound.
So how do we survive this difficult dip? How does John get through that exhaustion without giving up?
The text gives us 4 very specific steps.
Let's break those down. The first step is be kind to yourself. What does that actually look like?
Being kind means stopping the negative voice in your head. When you lose motivation, you usually criticize yourself.
You think, I am so lazy, I cannot even stick to a simple plan.
Right. Being kind means replacing that thought. You tell yourself, I am trying to change my life, and change is exhausting. It is okay to rest today.
You do not punish yourself for feeling tired. That is great advice. The second step is keep taking small steps. I think people get stuck here because they want to do everything at once.
Absolutely. When you are in the dip, you do not need to fix your whole life in one day.
If your goal was to read a book every week, but you are exhausted, what do?
Just read one single page.
If your goal was to exercise for an hour,
Just put on your shoes and stretch for 5 minutes. You keep the habit alive by taking the smallest possible step.
even with zero motivation. Okay, the third step is remember your why.
Why did you want to change in the first place?
For John, his why was that feeling on the park bench. He wanted a life with true meaning.
The text suggests writing your big goal down. Put it on your mirror so you see it every morning.
And the fourth step is talk to someone or write in a journal.
This is crucial for emotional processing. Do not keep all your heavy thoughts locked inside your head.
When thoughts stay in your mind, they spin around and cause anxiety.
Sharing your feelings with a friend or writing them down brings them out into the light.
It makes the problems feel much smaller. I think those 4 steps are incredibly practical.
Because it is easy to feel like something is wrong with you when motivation disappears.
But our source material makes a comforting point. It says, you are not broken, you are growing.
To understand growth, the text uses a powerful analogy of a tiny seed.
Imagine a small, hard seed resting on a table. While it is inside its hard shell, it feels completely safe.
The weather cannot hurt it.
But if it stays in that shell forever, it will never become a living plant.
To grow, the seed must break its shell. It must crack open.
That process destroys the safety it once knew. Breaking open sounds violent.
It looks like it is being destroyed, but it is the beginning of a new life.
And the most interesting part is, after the shell breaks, the seed does not immediately reach up toward the warm sun.
No, it goes down. It pushes deep into the dark, cold dirt.
It must grow its roots in the dark dirt first.
It spends a lot of time silently pushing downward. No one can see this happening.
There are no flowers yet.
No one is clapping for the seed. It happens slowly, quietly, and entirely in the dark.
But growing those strong roots is the most important part of the journey.
Without strong roots, the plant will fall over the first time a strong wind blows.
I want to speak directly to you right now. You are that seed.
Yes,
When you had your awakening, when you decided to change your career or improve your health, Your old, safe shell cracked open.
And right now, if you feel exhausted and unmotivated, you are in the dark dirt.
You are in the uncomfortable stage. But feeling uncomfortable does not mean you are failing.
It means you are going deeper. You are building the strong roots you will need to support your new life.
It is so common to want to escape the dark dirt. People think, I felt so much happier before I woke up.
John probably wished he could just go back to answering emails without worrying about his life's purpose.
But once your eyes are open, you cannot force them closed again. You cannot put the seed back inside the broken shell.
The discomfort you feel is simply the physical feeling of transformation.
Which brings us to a major cultural problem we face today. We all suffer from the illusion of instant change.
We want everything to be fast.
The text compares this desire for speed to learning a new language. You do not become fluent on the first day.
It requires maturity. You have to accept that making mistakes is part of the process.
Or, as another analogy puts it, real transformation is like building your dream house.
Building a house is a perfect comparison. If you want a sturdy new house, you cannot just stand in an empty field and wait for it to magically appear.
You have to do the hard work. You have to dig the ground for the foundation.
You have to lay the bricks down very slowly, one by one, day after day.
Some days you will feel very tired. Sometimes a rainstorm will force you to stop.
But if you keep laying those bricks, eventually you will have a house.
The moment of awakening is just looking at the beautiful blueprint of the house.
You still have to build it yourself.
Why is it so hard for us to accept that building takes a long time? Why do we get frustrated when it isn't finished in a week?
In modern life, we live in a world of instant gratification. We have fast food and high-speed internet.
We order a package online and receive it the next day.
Because everything is fast and easy, we incorrectly expect our personal growth to be fast too.
We think we can watch one motivational video and change our entire personality by the next morning.
But personal growth does not work like next-day delivery. It requires maturity, not just motivation.
Motivation is a quick burst of energy, like drinking a strong cup of coffee. It wears off.
Maturity is understanding that you will have bad days.
You will feel lazy some mornings, but maturity is the choice to keep going anyway.
You choose to be patient and trust the slow process.
That idea of maturity sets up the most challenging part of this process.
When you build that new house, eventually you have to clean out the old garbage left on the property.
In psychology, Carl Jung referred to this hidden garbage as our shadow.
And dealing with it is called shadow work.
The source uses a relatable analogy for this. Think about an old dirty room in your house.
Like a basement you have ignored for years. It is full of old boxes, dust, and spider webs.
When you finally decide to clean that room, what happens? You open the door and start moving heavy boxes.
You take a broom and start sweeping the floor.
Immediately, thick clouds of dust fly up into the air. You uncover hidden garbage.
For a little while, the room actually looks much worse and messier than before you started.
If someone looked inside, they would say, wow, you are making a huge mess.
But you are not making a mess. You are doing a deep clean.
And our minds work the exact same way when we experience an awakening.
When you wake up, your inner light turns on, and light shines directly into the dark corners.
It shines onto your shadow.
Your shadow is the part of yourself that you hide, the hidden pain, the shame, the secret fears you ignored for years.
You kept them locked in a dark room because they were too painful to look at.
So when that inner light shines on the shadow, all the emotional dust flies into the air.
For John, maybe his shadow was realizing he chose a boring career to please his parents.
He was secretly very angry about it. When you start shadow work, you might suddenly feel angry or sad or anxious.
You might think, why am I feeling these terrible emotions? I am supposed to be awakened and happy.
But facing this messy shadow does not mean you are broken.
It means you are finally courageous enough to heal.
You are looking directly at the dust instead of running away from it. This process is essentially the deep cleaning of your soul.
And cleaning the soul is hard, exhausting work. But when you face those hidden fears, you begin to clear them out of your life.
You are not trying to become a perfect, flawless person. You are trying to become whole, honest, and real.
If we look at the bigger picture today, the path forward is very clear. The journey of personal growth is messy.
It is very slow, just like a seed growing roots.
It is often quite uncomfortable, like climbing a steep mountain, but it is deeply beautiful.
Your goal should never be a perfect life with absolutely no problems.
Yeah.
That kind of life does not exist for anyone.
The real goal is to learn how to walk side by side with the truth of who you are.
To keep building your life, brick by brick, layer by layer, even when the initial motivation fades away.
You will still have days where you feel lost and tired.
But you now know those days are just the dip. They are the moments you are in the dark soil doing the most important work.
Yes, the most important work.
I want to leave you with a final, deep thought to consider today. If the darkest soil is what creates the strongest roots, what if the moments in life where you feel the most lost are actually the exact moments you are growing the most?
I hope your answer to my first question is now different. If you feel tired after a burst of motivation, you now know you aren't failing. You are just in the dip, growing your roots. If you learned something new today, please like this video and subscribe for more English practice. See you in the next video.